Welcome to Classic Game Room, broadcasting from the Intergalactic Space Arcade, where I'm reviewing the largest game console in my collection. And no, it's not the Atari 5200, it's the Big Red Monster, as I like to call it, the SNK Neo Geo MVS arcade machine. Kids, listen up. This is your brain on a Game Boy cartridge. How about an Atari 2600 game? Followed by the Sega Genesis and Nintendo Entertainment System game cartridge. This is your brain being crushed by the Neo Geo MVS cartridge with its immense size and wallet-crushing girth. Before I even get to the console, the cartridge itself is larger than most games in their boxes. Anyway, here's a look at the machine, a 4-slot MVS arcade machine that I picked up on Craigslist with a stack of games for a great price, but it wasn't actually working. It was broken. And for that complete story, you can watch the Classic Game Room We Bought a Neo Geo series of videos. And to make a long story short, it now works. Although there's some screen issues, as you'll see. But let's take a look at the Neo Geo. Is this something that you'd like to collect? Well, for starters, it's big, it's really heavy, and these arcade machines are at least 20 years old, so prepare for some issues. There's a number of different Neo Geos out there. There's a 1-slot, 2-slot, 4-slot, and I believe a 6-slot machine. This is the 4-slot, which means it holds 4 Neo Geo game cartridges. Back in the day, arcades would install one Neo Geo cabinet, and then they could change the games out for far less than it would cost to actually install a new arcade machine. With the Shock Troopers 2nd Squad game installed, let's turn this thing on and do what it does best. Play Neo Geo.
Shock Troopers 2nd Squad.
When you insert quarters, it will give you credits on the left or right player position. And then you can select the games using the Select Game button. That will cycle through the 4 games installed in your Neo Geo. And if this machine was working as if it were new, which it's obviously not, then the little marquees will actually light up on the top of the machine, indicating what's being played. That's a project for the future, though. As it is, I'm happy that it works. As of this recording, I just picked up Shock Troopers 2 from eBay and plugged it in for the first time while filming this. I've had the most fun so far playing Neo Drift Out, which is awesome. As you can probably tell, the screen has a rollover issue, which I was not able to fix using the knobs inside the arcade cabinet. I've been informed that it is a monitor issue. This thing has been played more than 77,000 times, according to the counter inside of it. Oh! And while it's really annoying, it doesn't ruin the experience, so it's on my list of things to fix in the future. The fact is, as impractical as this machine might be, it's a lot of fun to play games on, because there's nothing quite like playing video games on an arcade cabinet. It's an experience. And it also works the best when playing fighting games, because you can play 2-player games with your friend right next to you and throw the machine around knowing that you can't actually move it. This thing weighs about 400 pounds. With a massive 25-inch monitor, it's not going anywhere. I'm using our digital camera to film this instead of the tape camera, so the screen may look like it's getting brighter and darker. That's in the recording, although it does definitely shoot up over the top of the monitor. There's a lot of great Neo Geo games out there. Everything from the Metal Slug series to the King of Fighters, World Heroes, Shock Troopers, Samurai Showdown, and many, many more. But watch out, some of them can be super expensive. You don't want to overpay for an MVS cartridge only to find out that SNK Playmore, who has done a fabulous job re-releasing their titles on various game consoles like the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation Network, put your $200 game cartridge out there for $3. Will the experience be the same? Probably not, but that's still a huge price difference. You can also go with a Neo Geo CD game console that's more affordable to collect for, but has loading times. I have one, I've reviewed it, I like it a lot. Also, you can go with the Neo Geo AES. But I think the MVS is just more badass. It should have been called the MFVS.
How'd you get the flamethrower? My God.
If you're looking for a single arcade machine to put in your game room or your living room or your dorm room, which would make you the coolest, most popular person ever, the Neo Geo MVS arcade cabinet is a nice choice because it plays more than one game. Did I call it impractical earlier? Maybe it is the most practical choice. It's big, it's red, it plays great games. What's not to like? You can also buy consoleized Neo Geo game consoles that work with your television. Analog Interactive makes a terrific one. Check out their website. And did you know that Neo Geo games are still being released? Games like Gunlord and Fast Striker were released on the Neo Geo as well as the Dreamcast. And you know I love the Dreamcast. If you have the money, if you have the room, if you're able to repair things yourself or pay someone else to do it, the Neo Geo MVS is one of the coolest video game systems that you can buy. A big thanks to all of the viewers who sent in suggestions on how to fix this. A huge thanks to Luke Morse in Japan for actually fixing it. I've really enjoyed it, I've played it frequently, and I'm looking forward to reviewing a lot of Neo Geo MVS games. This is the Neo Geo MVS arcade machine, the big red monster.